Hello everybody. Okay, this video is instruction about writing process paragraphs, which is our next paragraph assignment for paragraph number 3. So we will also be talking about what you need to do for paragraph number 3. Okay, just a second and I'll be switching over to my other screen. Moment. Here we go. Okay, and give me 1 second here. Where are we? Here we go. From beginning, here we go. So, all right, so we're going on now to learning about how to write process paragraphs, okay? And a process paragraph basically is something that describes how to do something, or you can also describe how something works, all right? So let's take a little look at the elements of a process paragraph. First of all, a process paragraph divides the process into separate steps. What do you need to do step by step to do this? And it should be very clearly written so somebody can read it and follow those steps and perform the process, okay? And to do that, you need to list or explain your steps in chronological order. This word chronological means in order of time, what you do first, what you do next, what you do after that, as it goes, as it proceeds in time. And so to do that, you're going to need to use some time words or phrases to make sure that the person knows what to do when in that process. And finally, a process paragraph should end with a specific result. As a result of doing these things, you end up with something or other at the end. Okay, so I've got here an example of a process paragraph. This is actually one of the ones from our writing book, okay? And just a moment, I'm just going to get my pointer here so that I can point to things as necessary. Actually, I'm going to go with my pen. So, okay, this paragraph is called Eating Messy Food. So read along with me. It says, because eating a delicious, juicy taco is not easy, it requires following specific directions. First, you must be sure that you are wearing clothes that you do not mind getting dirty. Eating a taco while you are wearing an expensive shirt or suit is not a good idea. The next thing that you should do is decide if you want to eat the taco alone or in front of others. Eating a taco in front of someone you do not know well can be embarrassing. Finally, it is important to plan your attack. It is a good idea to pick up the taco gently and then keep it in a horizontal position. As you raise the taco, slowly turn your head toward it and position your head at a 20-degree angle. The last step is to put the corner of the taco in your mouth and take a bite. By following these simple directions, eating a taco can be a less messy experience. Okay, what did you think of that? I love that one because I think it's pretty funny, okay? And I love it when students write things that make me laugh. A lot of instructors do. So anyway, let's look at the structure of this paragraph. Now you remember the different elements that you need in a paragraph. First of all, it needs to have an indent, okay? And you can see it's got its indent here at the beginning, okay? It also needs a title at the top, eating a messy food. And you can see that's what this whole paragraph is about. It's about how to eat a messy kind of a food, okay? Now, what's the next thing that you need in a paragraph? I really hope you're saying a topic sentence because we've been talking about them so much. So what do you think is the topic sentence of this paragraph? I'll give you a couple of seconds to take a look. Okay, did you say it was the first sentence? Okay, because eating a delicious, juicy taco is not easy. In fact, I'm gonna what should I do with this? I'm gonna circle it this time. Here we go. Because eating a delicious, juicy taco is not easy, it requires following specific directions. Can you see that is your topic sentence, okay? And that's what this whole paragraph is going to be about. Remember, it has to kind of drive the idea of the whole paragraph. because eating a delicious, juicy taco is not easy. It requires following specific directions. And I think that one's a particularly good topic sentence. Okay, what else does a paragraph need to have? All right, did you say some detail sentences? Okay, so that's what we have next. We have the details explaining how to eat this taco. All right, so we got first, it's talking about your clothing. Look, first you must be sure that wearing clothes, you must be sure that you're wearing clothes that you do not mind getting dirty. Eating a taco while you're wearing an expensive shirt or suit is not a good idea. So that's the first idea, okay? Notice, okay, it introduces it. First, you must be sure that you're wearing clothes that you do not mind getting dirty. And then it gives some more specific details. Eating a taco while you're wearing an expensive shirt or suit is not a good idea. Okay, then we go on to the next one. The next thing you should do is decide if you want to eat the taco alone or in front of others. Eating a taco in front of someone you do not know well can be embarrassing. Okay, let me find my mouse again. So let's circle that next section. And that is all about really making the decision of who sees you eating your taco and making a big mess of yourself. Okay, then next we have finally, it is important to plan your attack. It is a good idea to pick up the taco gently and then keep it in a horizontal position. As you raise the taco, slowly turn your head toward it and position your head at a 20-degree angle. All right, so you can see that's another step there. So that's kind of on the actual thing of physically getting it into your mouth. Oh, I guess actually the next part is part of that, because then it says the last step is to put the corner of the taco in your mouth and take a bite. So that's actually all included there. So I'm going to circle that as the third idea. So those are three ideas, three elements of the process of eating a taco, with some good, very clearly written instructions on how to do it. The final part is, by following these simple directions, eating a taco can be a less messy experience. And what's that part? I hope you're saying the conclusion. Okay, that's the conclusion of your paragraph here, and you can see that kind of wraps up the whole idea, okay, and brings it back together at the end. It's not introducing any new information. There's nothing in there that hasn't already been spoken about. Be careful about that, because some people are putting extra details in their conclusions, and that is not correct. Okay, the next thing I want you to draw your attention to here is the use of sequencing words. When you're writing a process paragraph, you're talking about a sequence of things that happen in time. So let's have a look. If you look here at the beginning of the first section, can you see it says, first you must be sure that you are wearing clothes. I'm going to underline, can you see that word there, first? Okay, that is a sequencing word, okay, that shows when the action happens. And then if we come down here to the next paragraph, do you see the sequencing words there? Do you see the next thing? That's telling you when that happens. And then we go to the third one, and can you see our sequencing word there is finally? Okay, these are very important in process paragraphs, and we'll talk more about them in a minute. All right, let's go on to a second one. This one's called guessing your friend's number. And it goes like this. I'm going to explain the steps to do a really interesting math trick that I learned yesterday that will amaze your friends. First, tell your friends that their answer will be 3 no matter what they do. Now tell your friends to think of a number greater than 0. Third, they should multiply their number by itself. Next, they should add their answer to their original number. Now they should divide their new number by their original number. In the 6th step, your friends should add 17 and then subtract their original answer from this total. Finally, they should divide their answer by 6. The final result is always 3. Your friends will think you have the ability to know what they are thinking, but you know this is a simple math trick where the answer is always 3. Okay, so this one is how to do a math trick. So let's take a look again for the topic sentence. and see if you can figure out the topic sentence. Okay, pretty easy, I think, because you remember that almost all the time the topic sentence is the first sentence. Can you see here? I am going to explain the steps to do a really interesting math trick that I learned yesterday that will amaze your friends. So let me circle that. There we go. All right, and then next after that, remember we've got our details. So here's the first one. Here's our sequencing word. First, tell your friends that their answer will be 3 no matter what they do. Now we've got another sequencing friend. Now, another sequencing word, pardon me. Now tell your friends to think of a number greater than 0. And then here comes another third. They should multiply their number by itself. Next, they should add their answer to their original number. Now, they should divide their new number by their original number. In the 6th step, your friend should add 17 and then subtract their original answers from this total. Finally, and I've lost my pointer here, it's so small I can hardly see this silly little thing. Finally, they should divide their answer by 6. The final result is always 3. And then what do we have at the end? We have your friends. Let me circle it so we can look at it here. See it there? Your friends will think you have the ability to know what they are thinking. But you know this is a simple math trick where the answer is always 3. And what is that? That's your conclusion, of course. And notice it wraps up the idea of the whole paragraph. And once again, it is not introducing any new ideas here. Okay, let's go on now to think about, oh, crazy looking slide here. Sorry about that. That's okay. We'll manage. This is a slide with some sequencing words. Okay, some words that you can use. And the first one I've got here is first. Like first, you should cut some flowers. Wow, something really went crazy with my animations. Pardon me, but you can see what it is. So sequencing words are like first, second, third. So we got first, you should cut some flowers. Or another one is next. Like next, you should take the lug nuts off the wheel. Or after that, cut the paper into 3 pieces. Or next one I've got is while or at the same time as. Sometimes you have in your process, you have 2 things happening at the same time. And that's when you want to use words like while or a phrase like at the same time as. So we've got while the water is boiling, mix up the dye. Or at the same time as the water is boiling, mix up the dye. And then the next one we've got is the next step is. The next step is to hit the enter key. And finally, warm down until your heart rate returns to normal. So those are some examples of sequencing words. You might want to pause the video right now and take note of those. Also know that I'm going to put this PowerPoint into the module in Canvas, so you can go back and watch it again very easily, okay? All right, now one thing to keep in mind, try and mix them up a little bit. Don't use the same one again and again. Don't keep using next, 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 or first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. That would sound kind of boring. It will sound better if you kind of mix them around a little bit. Maybe you have first, and then you have next, and then you have the next step is. Different words like that, so it makes your writing sound more varied and not all the same thing. Okay, so that's what we're looking for in a process paragraph. And what we're doing today is getting you ready to write your paragraph 3, okay, which will be a process paragraph. And the assignment is to write 1 paragraph describing a process. And it can be anything that you like. Try to make it something interesting, okay? The examples, if you saw back at the last page, I had things like something with flowers, something with a car, something with paper, something with making things with dye, something with a computer. and then something with exercise. Those are just a few examples of the kinds of things that you can write about. If you are not sure about your idea, please contact me, send me an email, and I'll check it over and tell you if it's a good idea. But what you want to think about is something that has enough steps that you can write a paragraph of 150 to 200 words. You don't want something that's going to take 2-3 pages to write about. So it needs to be something relatively simple with enough steps that you can write about, okay? And something, try and make it something interesting, like that one about eating the taco, okay? It needs a title, as usual. And remember, you can go in that title generator that I put in the course resources in Canvas if you need to check your capitalization. It needs a good topic sentence. And then you need at least 3 good sentences, probably more though, describing the steps in your process. 3 is the absolute minimum, okay? And make sure now that they're not run-on sentences, okay? So be very careful about that, because with this paragraph, I will be checking for that, and you will lose points if you have run-on sentences in your paragraph. You need a conclusion, wrapping up the paragraph, and remember, with no new details in it. Your paragraph needs to be clearly and logically written, so it makes sense. Someone could pick it up and they could follow these instructions and follow that process, okay? And it should be 150 to 200 words. All right, now I'm going to change some rules now because we are all doing school online, and I understand that for some of you it's very difficult to be writing in your phones, as that's what you're using. So for this, I'm going to say, if you have a laptop computer, please continue to write your paragraphs in your laptop in MLA format and submit them to me through Turnitin. That's what I really prefer, because it's much easier for me to read them and to grade them. However, if that is not possible for you, I will now accept neatly handwritten assignments. I have to be able to read them, but write it out very neatly on a nice piece of paper, not some old piece of paper, you know, ripped out of your notebook. I'm just demonstrating here. If you can see, I don't want to see that. Make it on a nice piece of paper, clearly written, and make it look like MLA format, right? Teacher's name, the date, the class, all of that information at the top, and lay it out. Make sure you have your indentation and your number of words at the bottom, okay? But I will accept that, and you can submit it to me by either, if you have a scanner, you can scan it, or you can, if necessary, take a picture and send me the picture as an attachment to an email, okay? Now, the other thing that I'm changing is I'm not going to ask for the pre-writing packets anymore, because I think that's just too difficult for everybody to submit them. So I'm not asking them for part of your grade, but I'm going to say to you, you still want to do your pre-writing activities, your brainstorming, and you're writing your first draft. Don't skip this, or you will not have a good paragraph. And this assignment is due on Wednesday, April 8th, okay? So you have, what, 2 weeks to write it, okay? And I also have the complete assignment details and the rubric are in Canvas in this week's course module. So you can go in there and read all of this in much more detail, okay? And I think that's everything I have there. So just a moment, I'll go back to my other screen. So that's our writing assignment for this week. Remember that you can contact me anytime using Remind or email. Okay, if you're having any difficulties, I'm happy to help you, okay? And when we meet again in class, okay, through Zoom, you can also talk to me there. All right? Okay, take care, everybody. All right, and I'll see you soon.